I was born in a small place called Matare Valley. We enter into a cycle of life where boys become thieves and the girls become prostitutes. That's what we are expected. That's what most of us end up being. My mom wanted me to have a different life, but in the process, it was not easy because for you to go to school, you need tuition fee, you need school uniform. Whenever you get sick, you need to go to hospital. We don't have health care, so we didn't have food. My mom started selling liquor, and it's one of the dangerous alcohol that we have in Kenya. But my mom was doing that just to try and feed me and to feed my brother and to feed our family. And even my mom started selling drugs and all this stuff. And these things did not work well. And my mom was so disappointed. And so she wanted to commit suicide. She didn't die, but she wanted to take her life because she saw herself as a failure, as somebody who cannot provide for her family. And so I find myself in the streets of Nairobi begging for food and money. But that was not enough. And so what I did, I started stealing. Now in Kenya, when you're stealing and you're arrested, you can either be shot, you can be burned, or you can be stoned by mob justice. But I was just 9 years old, and I was arrested and I went to prison. I met a lot of other kids who prison was their life. They had different stories how they came there, but most of them were stories of lack of hope, poverty, and they were just trying to survive. And so I thought to myself, am I gonna die? Is this the end of me? And the only thing I did was to kneel down and I spoke to God. I said, if you're there and if you exist, please take me out of this prison. But most importantly, take me out of poverty. Poverty is a monster and it kills. And I was afraid that I was going to die because we were poor. But then when I prayed to God, He came through. I got out of prison, but I went back to the same neighborhood, same place that nothing had changed. There was no hope. But then God answered my second prayer, and that's when Compassion International intervened. And they brought me in, and now I was waiting. But for me to get a sponsor, they needed to take my picture and make a packet and make it out there so that anybody can sponsor me. I waited for some time. We used to sit in a room waiting to hear our names being called, hoping that somebody is going to see my picture and my packet and decide to sponsor me. Like I said, I waited for over a year, but finally my name was called. Finally I got a sponsor, and I got a family from California. The guy was called Greg Ishimoda. He came through and they were my sponsor, and they did so much to me. One of the things that I got from Compassion was education. In Compassion, through my sponsor, they were able to pay me through high school. And I thank God for that. The second thing that Compassion gave me was love. When you sponsor a child, you get to write letters back and forth. And during this time, my sponsors were able to tell me that we love you. That was the first time I heard the words, I love you, somebody saying those words to me. But they gave me love, and they showed me how important I was. The third and the most important thing that Compassion gave me was the Word of God. They told me so much about Jesus. They told me that this world, anything can fail, but the Word of God can never fail and will never fail. And so if you pick up right now, pick up your phone, whatever you have to do, just get to sponsor a child and let's make a difference. I am alive right now because somebody gave. Most of my friends that I grew up with, they ended up dying. They were either shot or they were killed by a mob justice. So your simple act of sponsoring a child might end up changing and making a difference in another child's life. Thank you.